Well, hello everyone. It's Deb Naylor with the Flying Stamper, and I am here today to go over the October 2021 Pick-a-Punch class. So I'm going to start out by giving you some things that you might want to gather if you are attending this class virtually. You'll need to gather some supplies, and then we'll go over the projects and talk about how to assemble them. So these are some things that I suggest you gather. Glue dots, glue. I like liquid glue. I know many of you like to use seal or snail or a tape runner, so whatever your favorite method of adhering layers to your cards, grab that. Some paper snips. You'll need some dimensionals, and then these things are just helpful, not required. Oh, you'll need some scissors, so they're optional. So a piercing pad or a foam mat, a bone folder, a pick-a-tool, and then your blending brush. And this is actually really just in case you don't have some of the supplies, stamps or punches that we're going to be using in the class. This blending brush is going to be an optional item. Okay, so those are the things that you want to gather. So if you want to pause the video and grab those things. Oh, you'll also need some stamp pads. Sorry about that. Let me set this stuff to the side because I'm going to need it as we go along. So you're going to need some stamp pads. You'll need Old Olive, Magenta Madness, Basic Gray, Garden Green, Evening Evergreen, and Basic Black. So if you have those pads, gather them. If you don't, I will be giving you some optional ideas as we go about this. I think most of you have Evening Evergreen, and we can sub Evening Evergreen for the Garden Green. If you don't have Magenta Madness, most of you have Polished Pink, so grab Polished Pink. I think everybody has black, and you can use that in place of this. And then Old Olive, if you don't have that one, the Evening Evergreen will work for that too. So let me put those with the projects so that they're where I need them to be at when I'm working on the projects. While I'm putting them away, I'm actually going to put the cards up so that you can see them, and I'm going to put them all on the screen right now so you can maybe see them all at one time. Let's move that. And then we'll go over these individually too. Okay, so actually I can't get them all on the screen. You will get, if you're attending this virtually, you will actually get an email with the photos, and if you are on Facebook, they will also be posted on the Facebook group page for my virtual and in-person classes. So you'll have a couple different ways to get them. Let me just finish putting these away, and then I will get back to business here. Okay. All right. So we have obviously a Christmas card, and this class is called Pick-a-Punch, and quite a few of you, this was one of the more popular punches that was chosen, the Pine Tree Punch, and then this also uses the Starlit Star Punch, and then I think only one person got the Tulip Punch, but this is a really pretty card. If you don't want to make it a sympathy card, you can change it into a pretty birthday card or a thinking of you. And then this uses the Elegant Tag Punch. A couple people chose that. And then this uses the Turtle Friends, and this is a fun card. It sits up like this, and your sentiment and signature is actually on the back of the card. So that's a little fun fold. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. And then somebody took this one too, I can't remember the name of this punch, but it's a Tree Border Punch. And this actually is a Christmas card, but this makes a great masculine card too if you don't want to make it into a Christmas card, and we'll actually go ahead and make one of those when we're doing our video. Okay, so those are the 5 projects. When you get your kit, as always, be careful when you open it, pulling out your bits and pieces. There's lots of little goodies in there. You're also going to find a door prize. I had a door prize for every single attendee this month, and I don't always have that, but this month I did. I had a really blessed month in September, so I got a lot of hostess rewards, and I was able to spend that all on things to give to my virtual class attendees. Okay, so let's get started. We are going to start with this card first. So what I decided was we'll do one of the easier ones, and then we'll jump right into that fun fold one, and then we'll go down with a little more complicated ones. So this card uses the Elegantly Said stamp set. So if you have that, great. And if not, the only thing we used out of it was a sentiment. So grab whatever sentiment you want out of whatever card stamp set you have. And then I wanted to show you this paper. This is called the Simply Elegant Designer Series paper. If you attended the new catalog kind of release last spring, I had this paper actually laying out. It's really, really beautiful. Several of you commented on it. So it does go with the suite, and there is obviously a punch that goes with this as well. It's this elegant tag punch. So this I like because you can extend it, so you can make it a lot of different lengths. Okay, so let's get started. So when you open up your kit, you're going to find, and I tried to put everything in this way so that all the little bits and pieces are inside. So if you just carefully pull it out, then everything should be there and there shouldn't be anything left in the envelope, but double check just in case. All right, so we have all these little pieces of DSP that I cut, and then you have a liner. So let's go ahead and adhere the liner to the card, and then we'll let that dry while we're finishing up the rest of it. This card's going to go together really quite quickly, but it's a beautiful, elegant card. All right, so we'll put that right there in the middle. So you can put an inside sentiment if you wish, or leave it blank and right in there. All right, so here's all your DSP pieces. Here's this. You've got 2 of these, and this is the copper foil paper, which is absolutely gorgeous. So what you're going to do so that you have a layer is you're going to cut this in half. Okay, so then it layers. Now there'll be a little area where there won't be a layer, and you won't even notice that because it's right flush against it. So let's go ahead and glue that on there so that we can let that sit for a second and to dry. Now if you're using a tape runner or the seal or whatever, you don't have any drying time. But you do have a little bit of drying time with the liquid glue. All right, so just layer that however you would like how much to show on there. Okay, so we'll let those 2 things set for a second. Now you have this little piece of paper, and we are going to fussy cut this. This came from that DSP2, the Elegant DSP, and those little tiny, I don't know what kind of flower they are, but I just kind of cut around them. I didn't cut in between them or anything like that. Mostly what I cut around was the petals on the flower. And you don't have a lot of room to work with because I had to cut these out of the paper, but they just are so pretty, and they just added a little bit of extra oomph to the project. So you know how I am. I'm always trying to add that extra little touch at the end. And so on your fussy cutting, remember to turn the paper, not your scissors, and then you won't get those ugly cut marks. All right, so we got that done. Let's get rid of this scrap. All right, now we have these beautiful layers, so we're going to layer them onto the card. Start with the long, skinny one first, because it kind of goes in the middle. And it's your card, so you can use whatever side of the DSP you prefer. I wanted to make sure I had some of the metallic, especially the copper, so that it kind of coordinated with the tag. Okay, so then let's see. This goes over here, so this goes on next. I like this side too with the leaves, so if you want maybe a little more of a fall look, you could choose that. You know what? I'm going to turn that so that more of the foil is going to show. And then this one goes on last. Okay. All right, now you have this, I think it's called Fine Art Ribbon. It's in the annual catalog, Fine Art Ribbon. And it's beautiful, it's sparkly, and it's got just some metallic shimmer to it. So we're gonna pull that around and just make a soft little bow over here on the side. If you don't like to make little bows, then just pull it around and anchor it down with a glue dot, and it can go underneath the tag. I know not everyone likes to make bows like I do. Okay, so we've got that. All right, now, oh, you know what? I should have stamped this before I attach that. So, haha. Don't do as I say, but try to remember to stamp this white piece first. That way, if you have any mistakes, you can turn it over. So I'm having a good stamping day, apparently. I don't have any mistakes. So yay me, I don't need to worry about that. But if I was you, I would stamp that first so that you do have a second opportunity to stamp the back side. Okay, now we need our dimensionals. So we can layer this on. And this goes here. And you know what? I just realized that I don't have my rhinestones. So let me grab those really quick. So the rhinestones that go on this card are the champagne basic jewels. And if you place a $50 or more order this month prior to tax and shipping, you get one of these packages for free. If you do place your order online, please add it to your order and I will mail you a refund for $6. I cannot mail these out. It just costs too much with shipping now. So add them if you're doing your order online to the order yourself. So you'll have two. One goes in the center here and one goes down here. And doesn't that just make a beautiful card? If you are ordering directly from me, then I will add it for you. So again, any order placed before October 31st of $50 or more, you may choose one of these rhinestone basic jewels. Okay, so isn't that pretty? All right, let's put that away and we'll move on to the next card. Okay, so the next one is the cute little one that stands up, and then your sentiment goes on the back. So let me get all the stuff out for that one, and then we will talk about how to assemble it. Okay, so it is created with the Turtle Friends stamp set and the Turtle Friends punch. So that's a bundle. I believe it's $35-ish, might be $36. You will receive in your kit the turtle pre-punched. So there's quite a bit in this kit, so be careful when you open it. You've got a turtle, you've got a white, and this will actually be punched if you're getting this virtually. You will have a black dot, you'll have another layer that's scored, you'll have a white layer, this is the back, you'll have 2 pieces of DSP, and you'll have a ribbon. So there's lots of goodies in this one. Let's start by the assembly process. So I've got a sample here I want to show you. And then it's got the dimensions on it too. So let me bring this on camera. So you have this one piece, this layer here is 3.5 by 4 1/4, and you score it at 1/2 and 1.5. Then the main base of the card is 4 1/4 by 8.5, and you score it at 1/2, 1.5, 3, and 4. Your DSP layers are 2.5 by 3.5 and 4 1/4 by 4. Okay, so here's some mock-ups that I made just so you could kind of see. You want to glue your DSP, your largest DSP piece, to the main base first, and then you're going to fold this back and you have a little tab and you're going to glue it. So I'm going to show you how to do that first. So this is going on the side that's not scored. So you've got all these score lines down here. Don't glue anything to that. This needs to go to the piece that is not scored. And you can use whatever side of the paper you'd like. If you prefer it to be a little more feminine, this would be fine. I'm trying to come up with like a card that would be good for a guy or a child or a woman. So this leaves it pretty versatile. Okay. And then since we're gluing, let's go ahead and glue this too. So again, we're going to glue on whatever side you would like, and on the piece on the side that is not scored. So don't glue on top of any of the scoring lines. Okay, now this is where your bone folder will come in handy, is kind of setting these creases on this because they're kind of important. That's what makes the card stand up. So if you go along each one of them with a bone folder, if you don't have a bone folder, I think that a stylist will work, and even I bet you a butter knife would work. Okay, so we're just going to kind of set those so they're strong. And then we're going to do the same thing on this one. Okay, now, if you don't have this liquid glue, I would suggest Seal Plus or Tear Tape or Sticky Strip. So we're going to put a piece of, or a strip of glue right along this 1/2 inch piece. And then that's going to fold up like this. Okay, so if you just fold it like that and hold it down and let it, you know, kind of set itself up there for a second. And then you fold these back up, and that's how it stands. And when you mail it, then you just fold it back down so it's flat, so you can mail it. So let's go ahead and stamp our white piece so we can adhere that to the back, and that way we'll let that set up for just a couple minutes. And let's see. Let me bring my stamps over to the area. Now, if you don't have the turtle friends, stamp set. Just grab a stamp set that has some sentiments in it. And then we'll talk about how to fill that turtle in. And this one is where you're going to use the your black stamp pad. If you don't have a black stamp pad, which I'm pretty sure everyone does, you could use Evening Evergreen too. Okay, so we're going to stamp our back. And I'm going to put, so this one I have set up as a belated birthday card. Seems like people on the first of the month I'm almost always late for, not on purpose, but so I'll stamp that kind of up in the top corner. And this area is in blank for me to write a little note in. And if you have the turtle, you can pinch the turtle or stamp the turtle up at the top or something else. And then we're going to stamp this. Now this is all cut for you. I did it with or punched. I did it with the Pick-a-Punch punch for you. Okay, so those are, I think that's all of our stamping. Okay, except the turtle. Now, if I was doing this with in person, we wouldn't stamp the turtle until, or we'd stamp the turtle first and then punch it. So if you have that, it's still pretty easy if you have this stamp set. And then you can put this cute little it's time to celebrate in the inside of his shell. And that he's really cute. Now, if you do not have this stamp set, he's still really cute without that. And this is where I would recommend that you take your blending brush and you could stick it in your ink pad and just go around the edge and give him a little definition. You could actually roughly, and I would do it really softly, put some definition in there with some different greens and yellows to make it look more like a shell. So if you do not have this stamp set, there will be ways for you to still make him really cute. And once you put the eye in there, he just all comes together. Now, I don't like what's happened here. You can see that I didn't get a good stamping there, so I'm actually going to stamp this over. No, I guess I'm not going to do that because it doesn't work that way. I thought maybe I could stamp it over. This is a reason why you should stamp first and then punch. Okay, we're just going to have to deal with it, Deb. It'll just have to go like that. It's not that bad. Okay, so let's get back to business on this. We will adhere this to the back. All right, while that's setting up there, let's talk about this. So we've got this. So on this piece, what you do is you line the end with the DSP up with the end of this fold. So you need it sitting up so you can see where to put it at. And I did not put any adhesive on the sides, so just on the bottom. And the reason why I didn't is because you don't really have too much area there, so I didn't want to take a chance of glue going up above it. You could actually, if you want to measure it, you could put some more there, but it seems to be holding fine. All right, now this kind of folds around, and you put a little bit of glue on the 1/2 inch side, or the 1/2 inch fold. And we'll put it all together. So while the card looks really complicated, it's actually not that bad. It is a lot of cutting and scoring, but I did all that for you, so it's not too bad. Okay, so we'll let that set for a minute. Get this ready. We're going to go ahead and put his eye in, and this would be where your take-a-pick tool would be handy to go ahead and get that little where'd it go? Black dot off. with its little sticky thing on it and move it in there. Okay, push down on that. Okay, so this guy's ready now. We'll go ahead and put him on a couple of dimensionals, and we'll put this on a couple of dimensionals, and then we'll be done. Isn't this card cute? It would be really fun to send to a child. All right, so this goes up at the top, and then the turtle goes down at the bottom. And then you have a bow, and you can put this wherever you want. So I think I'm going to put it right there because I kind of want to cover that little boo-boo there. Let's see, where's my glue dots? All right. All right, there we go. So I put my bow in a little different spot. That's, you know, that's the great thing about these embellishments, is they're great ways to hide things. All right, so there is the turtle card. Let me clean this up and move on to the next one. And there's no more hidden folds or anything like that, so the rest of them are fairly easy to put together. This is the next one that we're going to work on. And I'm actually going to make this a birthday card. I never seem to have enough male birthday cards. It would also make a really nice thinking of you card, especially for a guy. All right, so we'll put that over there. So this is what your kit's going to look like. You're going to open it up, and you're going to find that you have the tree border all punched out, and then you've got this and this and this. All right, so let's do our stamping first. And I used the Evergreen Elegant stamp set on this. If you do not have this stamp set, look in your stash. If you have Lovely as a Tree, that's a good substitute. There's been several different tree stamp sets over the years. There was also, if you got the Paper Pumpkin, I believe last month it had some trees in it. So everybody should have something they could substitute pretty easily for that. It might not be quite the same size, but it should be pretty similar. So those trees were cut with this tree border punch. And then this is the one where we're using Evening Evergreen. If you don't have Evening Evergreen, then any dark green stamp pad would work. Or use black. Black always works. Okay, so for this one, I decided that I was going to do it as a birthday card, and I'm going to use the Sweet Ice Cream, and I'm going to use that Happy Birthday because it's the right sentiment to fit in that area. So if you do want to transfer it to a Thinking of You or a birthday card, look for a long sentiment. Okay, let's get our stamping done. So on the tree, what I did was I always, when I do something like this, and you can see there's variations of color. So I started in the middle, and I moved out. And I need to get a scrap piece of paper because I'm going to actually offload somewhere in here, and I don't want it to be on my piercing mat. Sorry about that. So I need to slide that under there so I don't end up with ink on my piercing mat. Okay, so we'll ink it up and with a full load, and then I'll stamp my tree at the bottom, in the middle. All right, and then I'm just going to stamp two more, and I'm going to vary the height a little bit, and you notice I'm not reloading the ink, so you get a different variation of color. All right, so that's what you end up with. So you get like 3 different colors out of just one stamping. And then let's get our birthday stamp on here too. So this goes down towards the bottom. and just kind of centered. Okay, I think that's all the stamping for this one. Okay, put those away. Okay, so let's start the gluing process. Now, the reason I wanted to get my sentiment on there is if I had a mistake, this gets glued to this layer, so I could have turned it over and stamped on the other side. I didn't have a mistake, so I don't need to worry about that, but it gives you 2 opportunities for stamping in case you pick up an edge or you don't get a full image. Just always do your gluing at the end after you've stamped everything. That way it's really easy to fix stamping boo-boos. Okay, now this gets glued to the Evening Evergreen layer. And then this gets kind of centered up above your sentiment. And you can either glue it or you can use dimensionals. I like the extra height, so I did use dimensionals. And 1 in each corner is enough. Dimensionals are actually really strong, and you don't need to use a whole bunch of them. 1 in each corner usually does it nicely. Okay, and we're gonna put that there. Now the trees, they go across. So what I did was I put a dimensional on this end and this end. And if you have a mini dimensional, that would probably work really nicely. But if you don't, you know how you always have all these little edges of the dimensionals, right? You just cut them down and make your own little mini. And don't waste the edges. So we'll put that behind there. So you want it a little bit smaller so you don't see it. And then I put a little bit of glue on the tree in the middle. So you can use your seal or your tape runner, whatever you are using if you're not using glue. Okay, and then that just kind of lines up there, wherever you want it at. All right, isn't that pretty? I like it. I think it's a great guy card, and I think it would be a really great thinking of you card too. I also think it's a good Christmas card though. So whatever your little heart desires. Okay, let's put this away and move on to the next one. And the next one is going to be the Tulip card, and I have this set up as a sympathy card. I can't believe this, you guys, but I have to mail out 4 sympathy cards next week. And so now my sympathy card stash is low, so this is going to be helpful for me. But I mentioned earlier, if you don't want to make it as a sympathy card, you can use it as a girl birthday card or a thinking of you or congrats. I also have 2 engagements that happened in the last week, so I've got to send out some congrats cards too, and it would be pretty for that. All right, so that's what we're going to work on next. And this uses the Timeless Tulips stamp set and punch. And this is where you're going to need your Magenta Madness and your Old Olive. If you do not have Old Olive or Magenta Madness, then another green or a pink, polished pink would work, Evening Evergreen would work, and then whatever stamps you have. Before we get going too crazy, I want to show you a card that I made with the tulip punch. So there it is as a tulip. You turn it upside down and it looks like a ghost. Isn't that cute? And I just added some of those matte black dots, and this is a little circle punch, and then I had a couple of googly eyes, and I used the double oval. The double oval was also a very popular punch, but isn't that fun? Fun little Halloween card. Okay, let's get back on topic. Okay, so this is another one that if you don't have the Timeless Tulip bundle, your blending brush will come in handy. So take everything out. And there's lots of little pieces. There's 2 pieces of ribbon. There's 4 punch outs, and then you've got this layer. Don't worry about the hole there because that is going to get covered with this in a minute. So don't freak out when you see that hole there. It's just a way to save paper. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put the stamps on, and I'm going to tell you, if you don't have this stamp set, to just find some stems. And if you don't have any stems, foliage would work. Also, just hand draw them in. That would be another option. I think quite a few of you actually have this stamp set, but there may be some of you that don't. So I put the tulip stems on here, and I'm just going to stamp it kind of like off to the side with the old olive or whatever green you're using. And I didn't go too high because the tulips are actually pretty big, so I wanted to leave room for them. Okay, so there they are, and then I'm going to go ahead and put some leaves in. Okay, all right, and then I'm going to go ahead and do my words. And I'm going to go ahead and make another sympathy card because that is what I need right now. So I'll put my stamp in the, this is the postage punch. Kind of a fun one for sentiments. Oops. All right, so there's a stamping boo-boo. And I'm super glad that I didn't adhere that yet, because I can just turn that over. Yeah, there we go. So this one, the font is fairly small, and it needs a little extra push when you're pushing down on it. And maybe my ink pad isn't as juicy as yours will be. So I see I've gotten stuff on here. Lovely. Let's see if I can cover them. Yeah, that's all going to get covered. Okay, so if you have the tulip stamp set, this is where you're going to take the tulip, and you're going to go ahead and ink it up, and then go ahead and stamp it over on the little tulip. If you don't have the tulip, this is where your blending brush is going to come in handy. And I'm going to go ahead and use the blending brush just so we can take a look at it, because I know some of you guys will not have this stamp set. So remember, on the blending brush, you ink it up, and you take a little bit of the ink off, and then you go on to your paper. You can always add more. You can't take it off, so that's why you kind of want to offload a little bit, especially on this. We're looking for maybe a little more of a softer kind of a look. Leave some white. Don't fill the whole thing in. Now, if you want to really make it pop, go ahead and load it up and just go around the edges. Okay, so that really makes it have a little more definition. Okay, all right, I'm going to blend those just a little bit down there at the bottom there. I love this blending brush. Love, 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 love it. Okay, so I've got lots of variations of color. You could also take a black marker and, or even a black pen, and go along and make stitch marks if you wanted to. Okay, let's see here. So this gets glued to this. And then this gets glued to the magenta piece. Now, before we glue it onto the next piece, we're going to want to put our ribbon on. So when you're pulling this ribbon out, you have a little piece and you have a big piece. Take the larger one and put it down on your card and anchor it on the back. And you can either use a glue dot or you could use Scotch tape. I really like using Scotch tape on the back of this. The only thing that I'm going to caution you about with Scotch tape is it is not archival safe. So if you are making a scrapbook page or you feel like this person might scrapbook their birthday or whatever this is, you don't want to put Scotch tape on it. That is not archival safe. Okay, so we've got that down. The card opens this way. So let's go ahead and get that glued to the card base. Okay, now we'll put our things on and we'll put our other piece of ribbon on. And I'm waiting to put this last piece of ribbon on because I kind of want to see how this lays out. Each one of these cards ends up being kind of unique and its own little masterpiece, depending on how your tulip's laid out and how your stems got laid out. So I don't want to put that on until the end so I see where it fits best. We know the sentiment goes over here. That goes there. Okay, so we're going to have the tulip kind of maybe come a little bit underneath this. Yeah, or we can put it over the top, whatever you like. So that's going to go on some dimensionals. And pop off the side there. And then, where's our other tulip? Oh, it's right in front of me. My sister Michelle would say, "Durr." All right, and that goes there. So make sure your tulip doesn't pop off the card because then it won't fit in the envelope. So actually it needs to go up straight. I want a little more of that leaf to show. Put that like that. Okay, so now I can see that I've got room for my little bow to go here. And then just trim. I left it long so you could get it on there and tie it. Okay, there you go. Isn't that beautiful? So it looks good either way. If you don't have the tulip, then this blending brush method works very well. What a pretty card. Wouldn't you just love to receive that during a time of sadness? Okay, we've got one more card to make. Woohoo! So we are now going to work on the Christmas card. And you're going to find a lot of goodies in this one, so be careful when you pull it out. I tried to load them in all upside down. There's stars and red gems and trees and all kinds of stuff. All right, let's get that out. Okay, let me move these tulip things out of my way and we'll get on the stamping for that. I need I need like a digital room instead of trying to work in my studio with this. There's just not enough room here. So you have to bear with me. I think we've learned how to do that during COVID, right? All right, so I use the Stars Are Shining bundle with this, the stamps, and then there is a coordinating punch. And this is in the holiday catalog, and I really like the punch because there's so many different sizes of stars. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a little baby one, and then a huge one. It looks really nice with the stamp, but it also looks fine without the stamp. So you can use it for a lot of different things. You could use it for a 4th of July card, or maybe a military card if you need to mail somebody a patriotic type card. Okay, so let's get this all figured out here. So this is going to go on here, and this is going to go on here. Let's put those little pieces to the side for a minute. There's a lot of pieces, but it's going to go together fairly quickly for you. So you can use whatever side of the paper that you would like. And this paper is from the Peaceful Deer DSP that was one of the celebrations DSPs that we could get for free. So quite a few of you have it, so that's why I used it, just to give you another idea. And your card base is Garden Green. Okay, so put that on top of the card base. Okay, so now this goes across here, and I did raise it with dimensionals. All right, I'm still working on the edges of this. You know my theory, waste not, want not. You know, these dimensionals are super strong, so we really only need to put about 3 on here to keep it on and to keep it kind of stable. Let's see, I think we need to go up just a little bit more, so our trees. So you maybe want to have that up about 1.25 inches-ish, so your trees will fit. So on my trees, you have 2 that are punched in vanilla, and then 1 that's punched on the DSP. And the stamp set that I used for these trees is called Perfectly Plaid, which is where the tree punch comes from. And then my ink is Garden Green, but if you don't have Garden Green, Evening Evergreen will work, and so will Basic Black for the words at least. Okay, so, and then this little Joy to the World actually comes from The Stars Are Shining, so it's from that bundle. I want to say that bundle is 36-ish. All right, so you can decide which side of the tree that you want to stamp on. I wanted the side that was opposite to what we showed on the card base, just so it popped a little bit more. So I stamped that right in the center of the tree. And then these are stamped with the tree from that stamp set. Now, here's another opportunity. If you do not have the stamp set that I'm using right now, Perfectly Plaid, use your blending brush and color these in with some green, or look in your stamp inventory and see if you have any trees or branches. You could just fill it in that way. Okay, so now let's talk about this. So we're going to put these on. I think I'm going to have to grab some more dimensionals. So the Joy to the World one goes in the middle. Now these I added a little bit of definition to by kind of folding them in the middle. And that kind of gives them a little bit of a 3D. And then I attached the dimensional and then just stuck them on. Okay, I got to get some more dimensionals. It's amazing how many dimensionals I go through. It's kind of like toilet paper. Fortunately, they haven't been on back order or out of stock like toilet paper. Okay, there we go. All right, so we've got those all 3. All right, now the stars. We have 4 stars, and then you have 4 of these. So these are going to be a little more challenging to stamp with this stamp set. And I don't think too many of you guys have this bundle yet. So if you don't, if you have any other kind of stars, look in your paper pumpkin inventory, because, oops, there have been, oops, did you see that? That red rhinestone just popped in there. Let's get that out of there. I don't want to touch it because then I'll have ink all over my finger. So I don't know exactly how this is going to turn out. I was thinking about it earlier, but I'm going to line it up the best I can. This is another one where if you were in person or you have this, just go ahead and restamp it on a piece of paper. Hey, that's not too bad. All right, let's get this one done. So look in your paper pumpkin inventory. I'm pretty sure you're going to find a star in there from previous. Yeah, they're turning out fine. And then again, another option would be to use your blending brush and just add some green to them. Or just leave them plain. They're fine. You put your red rhinestone in the middle and they'll look really pretty plain. It's up to you. Lots of choices, lots of choices. That's what is great about life, is when you have choices, right? Okay, so we're going to put one of these red rhinestones in the middle of each star. And then we're going to put the stars on dimensionals. So the smallest star you're going to want to take, and I did not put that on a dimensional. I used a little bit of glue. If you don't use liquid glue, then use a glue dot. And that goes on the middle tree there. That's on the DSP. Okay, so we've got that. Now the other stars, we're going to put dimensionals on the back. And then we'll put them on the tree. Or on the card base, sorry. Okay, so I would recommend starting with the largest one and just kind of finding where you'd like to put them at. And it kind of depend on how your DSP is showing, where you want to stick them. Put that one up there or down here. Okay, I'll put it there. A decision. I made a decision. Okay, and then if you want to put a sentiment in the middle on the inside, you can do that. Let's see here. I have one of the sentiments from the Stars Are Shining. This is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Twinkle, Twinkle, Christmas Star. Okay, so those are the 5 projects. So if you attended this class virtually and you have any questions, if you're missing something, please let me know right away. I usually do a pretty good job on my kits, but every once in a while something doesn't make it into the envelopes, and I apologize. I don't mean to do that, so let me know if you're missing something, or if something doesn't make sense in the video. Give me a call or send me a text or an email. So next month's class will be the last week of November, and we are going to actually do our giftable class then. So there will be our calendar that we usually do, and then a gift card project, and some other little giftable things. So we're going to do that at the end of the month. The invitation and registration will start for that later today. So you guys have a really great time with your kits, and again, reach out if you have any questions at all. Thank you so much for attending. I really appreciate you. Take good care and see you next time.